No, no, I don't think college athletes are given enough time to really take advantage of the free education that they're given, and it's frustrating because a lot of people say, get upset with student athletes and say that they're not focused on school and they're not taking advantage of the opportunity they're given. I would love for a regular student to have a student athlete schedule during the season for just one quarter or one semester and show me how you balance that.
The social interaction between non-college athletes and college athletes is very important. It's important because college athletes never really get the chance to use their full campus resources, or they never really have the knowledge to know about anything else that's happening on campus. Given the schedule of an athlete, it causes them to only be able to interact with non-athletes in the classroom. Because of this, non-athletes usually come up with the idea that athletes don't care about school and all they do is care about their sport, because that's the only time where they get to see athletes. Because of this, isolation is created. Isolation is created because of how much time athletes are putting into their sport. So it causes athletes to think that non-athletes would never understand the life of a college athlete. In this video, I will be doing an interview between non-college athletes and college athletes to get better insight on this topic, to see if the stereotypes about athletes and non-college athletes are true, and to find out why people think the way they do about athletes, and to find out why athletes feel as though they are judged or these stereotypes have been put on them.
I would say the main thing is just when you're in class, they expect you to not do work, or they assume that your grades are bad and that you don't go to class. Because they probably see the way that we carry ourselves, and it's easy to assume that we don't take school seriously because we're always involved with our sport.
So what is misunderstood about college athletes? Would you say that athletes do care about schoolwork, or they're just not given the chance to really dive into it the way they would fully want to?
I would say it depends on the person, but a lot of the time it could be both, whether you feel like you can't give all your energy into school or you just don't have the time to.
Because I have more free time than I know that they do. I don't work anymore, and I'm only RA on campus, which is not that time consuming. So once I get out of class at 2 o'clock, I have time to sleep, watch TV, or do homework early if I want to. I think it is like 50-50. So the media plays a part in it based on the way that they portray student athletes and the way that they talk about them. So when Ben Simmons was at LSU, they always talked about the fact that they knew he wasn't there to go to school, and they knew that he wasn't going to classes, or after the season he stopped going. And I think just that one perception of one athlete kind of rolls over and makes people feel that all athletes are like that. But then on the other hand, I feel like student athletes are responsible as well, because if you take classes with some of them and you notice them in your classes, when they do come, they might not talk or they might not participate, or sometimes they just don't show up at all until the end of the semester when there's a final, or middle of the semester when there's a midterm. Yeah, because I think we all know that student athletes have practice, they have games, they have away and home games, tutoring, all of that stuff. But I think when you don't actually know an athlete or talk to an athlete, and you can't recognize how much time a week they actually put into these types of things. So yeah, in a way, kind of. I feel like physically we know they're isolated because they live on South. Even as a freshman, they can't live in freshman halls or something like that. But I also feel like even in the classroom, sometimes you'll see that student athletes are kind of right there, and then everybody else is over there. I definitely think non-student athletes have this judgment of student athletes being lazy or not caring, or they're just here for a free ride, or they don't care because they have a free ride and they don't understand what regular students have to go through. So I definitely think there's a judgment there. Do I think it's wrong all the time? No, because I think you can tell the student athletes in your classes or on your campus who relate to that stereotype.
What's your take on the idea that non-student athletes will never understand the life of a college athlete?
I think it's kind of 50-50. Like, I feel like they'll never know what it's like to have to wake up unless they played a sport in high school, and even to that extent, it's not the same as a college sport. But they'll never really know what it's like to like wake up early and have to go to practice in the morning and maybe practice in the afternoon and all this travel and still have the expectation of you getting good grades. But I also feel like it's college, so each student has their own struggle. Everybody's struggling doing something. There might be a student on campus who's not playing a college sport, but they're probably paying their way through college, or they're working 3 jobs and have the same amount of stress level probably as a student athlete. So everybody's struggle is different. It's just the way you handle it.
Student athletes and non-student athletes both have busy lives. It will always be easier to say that a student athlete has a harder life because of the mental and physical struggle that a student athlete has to dealing with their sport plus their academics, versus a non-student athlete who just has to deal with the struggle of their academics. Stereotypes will always be created about athletes because of how they carry themselves and how they act around the campus. At the same time, non-student athletes have to be more understanding of the life of a college athlete.
Because as a college athlete, depending on the sports you play, it will always be hard to give academics the full attention it requires.
Right the video, maybe depend on my mood. More bookings and payments and shit ain't got huge. Hop in the spaceship, take it to the moon. Cold hearts on my face just to help me look cool. They wet, we don't gotta use lube. Good head on her shoulder like she's still in school. Proposing in my soda, I won't catch a flu. Loyalty mandatory, you part of this crew. Spending addition 10,000 on shoes. Spend with no limit, 100 on jewels. Too many bitches, they coming in twos. I took a perk, I been itching since noon. Why the broke is the loudest?